We give thanks to the Creator. We offer our respect and love to our Mother, the Earth. We acknowledge the world around us and understand our place within it. We acknowledge the many nations that walked this land in the past, the many who walk it today. We acknowledge the many nations across this land who help care for our Mother, the Earth. We acknowledge and offer our respect to the Mississaugas of the Anishinaabe, who are the caretakers of this land and territory. Miigwech.
Sometimes you bend, sometimes you stand, sometimes you turn back to the wind. It's a world outside every darkened door where blues won't haunt you anymore. Where the brave are free and love is sore, riding me to the distant shore. We won't hesitate, break down the garden gate. There's not much time left today. Life is a highway, I will ride it all night long. If you're going my way, I won't drive it all night long. Through all these cities and all these towns, it's in my blood and it's all around. I loved you now like I loved you then. This is a road that leaves the hints. From Old St. John to Montreal nights, Paris Sound to the Northern Lights. Knock me down and back up again. You're in my blood, I'm not a lonely man. There's no road I can't hold, a road so rough, this I know. I'll be there when the light comes here, just turn loose of my nerves. Life is a highway, I will ride it all night long. Yeah, 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 yeah. You're going my way, I will drive it all night long. Give me, come on. Life is a highway, I will ride it all night long. Yeah, 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 yeah. You're going my way, I will drive it all night long. There was a distance between you and I. A misunderstanding once, but now we're getting behind. Life is a highway, I will ride it all night long. You're going my way, I will drive it all night long.
Years ago, a selfless and courageous man decided that he was going to run across Canada, the second largest country in the world, to raise awareness for cancer. It was called the Marathon of Hope. Tonight, we pay tribute to this powerful legacy of this Canadian icon, this one man who wanted to make a difference, this one man who wanted to change the world, this one man who only had one purpose, give, this one man who believed in what I believed in all through my football career. That is, that I am you and you are me. Terry believed in us joining him in this fight. He believed in us doing our part. He believed that we could come together as one to eradicate this plague that touches 1 out of every 2 Canadians. I know we can make something special happen this evening. We can rally together and make a great impact. I believe every Canadian can help reach Terry Fox's dream by contributing what they can. So when you see the graphic below, do what you can. And please text, call, or go online to donate. And please don't go. Enjoy the show.
Hi, Marie-May here. The story of Terry Fox's Marathon of Hope spans across 3,339 kilometers of our rugged Canadian terrain, with Terry running from St. John's, Newfoundland to just outside of Thunder Bay, Ontario. Durant 4 mois sur la route, il a rédigé un journal afin d'y noter son trajet, les paysages parcourus et ses sentiments vécus. Here's a glimpse into Terry's personal thoughts as he attempted to complete one of the most hopeful and selfless journeys of all time.
On April 12, 1980, Terry Fox dipped his artificial leg in the Atlantic Ocean to embark on one of the most courageous and selfless journeys in the history of all Canadians.
Today's the day it all begins.
Terry Fox had a dream as big as our country. After battling cancer, raising a little bit of money, and training for 14 months, Terry flew to St. John's, Newfoundland to start the Marathon of Hope, with the goal of raising $1 million for cancer research. With his friend Doug Allward in tow to drive the van and meticulously mark the miles, Terry wanted to run from coast to coast and end up in Vancouver, British Columbia by November of that same year.
I had a police escort out of the city.
And many people followed me in cars. The mayor ran a few steps with me. Along the way, everyone was honking and waving.
Terry Fox had a passion for helping people, and he knew the best way to do that was to meet Canadians face to face in order to raise as much money as possible while running across our vast and rugged country. Terry had no idea that his story would lead him to being known as one of the greatest Canadians of all time.
When Terry Fox began his Marathon of Hope in St. John's, Newfoundland, you have to remember, he was not Terry Fox, the legend. He was just this young man with this audacious plan. But there was certainly a lot of curiosity about him. There was a ceremony for him with the mayor at City Hall, and all the TV cameras were there when he dipped his leg in the Atlantic Ocean, and he announced that he was going to do the same thing in the Pacific Ocean. And I think the question on everyone's mind was, is such a thing even possible? And I know for me, 10 years old, I thought it was impossible. I thought running across Newfoundland was impossible, let alone all of Canada. And I guess it was a day or so later, I was at a friend's house, and we were looking at his uncle's brand new Ford Mustang. And he said, we're gonna drive out the highway, we're gonna find that guy with one leg who's running across Canada. And we came out here, 25, 30, 40 kilometers outside of St. John's, and sure enough, there he was on the side of the highway. It was incredible. I had never seen anyone with a prosthetic, let alone someone with a prosthetic running up the highway with the entire country in front of them. And I thought, you'd have to be a superhero to pull this off. But of course, that's exactly what we were looking at, a superhero.
Dear Terry.
Dear Terry.
Dear Terry.
I remember coming home and my kids telling me, Daddy, we're raising funds for Terry Fox. And I'm like, so tell me, who is Terry Fox?
I'm so glad to have had the opportunity to meet you way back in 1980. I found you to be a very straightforward, simple person, and I've really treasured our time with you and Doug. And
what stood out to me was your courage, your bravery, and what it means to live a life with purpose.
And I've rarely missed a run in the past 40 years. I participated in the very first Terry Fox run when I was 11 years old.
You have a special place in my heart.
Fundraising for your Marathon of Hope, I know I will be keeping your dream alive and helping others that are battling cancer today.
I lost my dear friend Donna to breast cancer. The last day I saw her was on this day on the 40th anniversary of the Marathon of Hope last year.
Me? I survived brain surgery in my 50s.
My mother had her own bout of cancer. We were so afraid thought we might lose her. Because of people like yourself and raising awareness about cancer, we're able to come closer to celebrating little wins like having Mom and having her see our children. And
You've inspired me to keep working on myself for the betterment of others. You've inspired me so much
to get out my own shell and be bold and have a purpose and stand for something.
Your spirit inspired me not to give up, and for that I thank you. That was my miracle.
Terry, you're always in my heart.
You've been my hero and inspiration for over 40 years.
You make all of us question if we are doing all that we can.
this work is bigger than any one of us.
May the determination to beat cancer carry on.
Thank you, Terry.
Thank you, Terry.
I love this photo. This is a famous photo of Terry Fox dipping his foot into the Atlantic Ocean in my home province of Newfoundland and Labrador. Terry wanted to start and finish his journey by dipping his foot into both the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. Learning how Terry, despite his conditions, set out on a journey that most thought was impossible, but proved not to just those naysayers, but to the world that anything is possible if you put your heart and mind to it. I would imagine that Terry was excited and a bit nervous starting out. As someone with a disability and someone who has been told they cannot achieve their dreams, Terry Fox's message is very dear to me. Not only is Terry Fox someone I look up to, but someone all of Canada looks up to as well.
On July 11th, 1980, after 3 months of running 3,523 kilometers, Terry was greeted by thousands of fans in Toronto and one of his hockey idols, Daryl Sittler.
Today I did 8 miles in the morning. Then I did Canada AM and went to a very emotional reception at Scarborough where I did my best speech.
I've said to people before that I'm going to do my very best to make it. I'm not going to give up.
A cute girl with cancer gave me a rose and it broke me up. Then I ran to Nathan Phillips Square. Thousands of people cheered me on.
The journey from St. John's to Toronto had been incredibly challenging. Terry had been getting up at 4:30 a.m., running through the cold, snow, and the wind, battling the traffic, running up hills, having problems with his prosthetic leg. He'd been feeling sick with the flu and experiencing dizzy spells. He'd been sleeping in motels and in his van, encouraging other cancer patients, talking to schools and the press, going to events to raise money, all while running almost a marathon a day.
I think he's great.
I think he's fantastic.
You'll make it.
His brother Daryl had joined their crew on the East Coast, and Terry's spirit was lifted by the crowds that came to see him. People across Canada were generously supporting the cause, and he had increased his goal of raising $1 million to $24.1 million, $1 for each Canadian. Terry Fox couldn't be stopped. His grit and determination brought tears to the eyes of the awestruck people watching from the side of the road. Nothing was going to stand in the way of his dream of finishing the Marathon of Hope in Vancouver.
I picked up a Toronto newspaper one morning and I looked at the front page and I read this story. A young Canadian kid just dipped his leg in the Atlantic Ocean and he was going to run across Canada. When I read that article and saw Terry's picture, I said, wow, this is amazing that this guy, he's lost his leg to cancer and he's going to run 26 miles a day. So I followed his run as he went through the Maritime provinces. So when Terry arrived at the Ontario-Quebec border, Terry Fox had 2 requests. He wanted the opportunity to maybe meet Daryl Sittler and to meet Bobby Orr. So when I got the phone call, was I interested in meeting Terry Fox? I said, wow, would I love to meet Terry Fox. I played in the NHL All-Star game that past winter, and I thought maybe I'll go home and grab my All-Star jersey. So I did, put it in a brown paper bag. Terry had just finished 13 miles, and he was up in his room. I had a Terry Fox t-shirt on, my runners and shorts, and I'll always remember walking into that hotel room. Terry was bent over, tying his laces, and he looked up and, hey, would you like to go for a run? And then we came out of the hotel and we ran down University Avenue, a beautiful sunny summer day, and I just watched as he ran. Instead of running beside him, I wanted to step back because he was the guy, and people were cheering him on. People were crying, people were donating money, and it was a very emotional time. If you ask me who the greatest Canadian ever was in my lifetime, I say Terry Fox. He believed that he could make a difference, and he did. That's Terry's legacy.
Anyone who's kind of been in Canada, I've grown up doing Terry Fox runs. So I started reading books about him, and I just realized like just how much of a Canadian hero he was and just how much of a light he was in people's worlds.
I'm very happy that he's Canadian. I'm very happy to be Canadian, and it's always great to have someone to look up to. My name is Nancy Falais, and I'm almost 46. I was diagnosed with breast cancer when I was 36. I went through all this stuff, chemo, surgery. I lost everything. My hair, my ovaries, my breasts. So life humbled me. It didn't put me on my knees, it put me flat on my face. But I stood up so much taller after.
My name is Haley Davis. I'm 19 years old and I go to the University of Guelph. At the end of 2019, towards the end of the summer, I found out that I had a brain tumor. And so then at the end of January of 2021, I had my second surgery, and then I had 6 weeks of radiation.
In the past year, I had quite a few of my clients that developed breast cancer. When the women that are about to lose their hair, you know, they want to come cut it off before chemo starts, I usually have a private moment with them. We talk, we cry, we laugh. I try to be as part of the process as they want me to be.
I really wanted to kind of give back in some way. Basically, I ran 150 kilometers. So I ran from Guelph to Goderich, and I did it in 5 days, so 30K each day. So I guess it was 2 weeks about between when I finished treatment and my run.
I'm happy that the Terry Fox Foundation raised money and that they give a lot for research. Research is very, very important because I wouldn't be here. I changed my entire way of doing hair also, and I started helping other women, whether they had cancer or not, to embrace their crowns. That's how I give back. I try to involve everybody that's around me to give back, and it works.
The main reason why I did this is just I know there's people out there who are just not as fortunate as me. So I set my initial goal at $10,000, which I thought was actually quite a lot. One day I woke up and like people were posting kind of my story all over social media, and like it was incredible. And then I ended up raising $26,000. Technologically, we've just advanced so much, and I do think Terry Fox is part of that, and I think that he really put kind of cancer research at the forefront of people's minds.
I am very grateful for money being raised for research, because even 20 years ago, women were dying of breast cancer. Now their survival rate is incredible.
Cancer was just this kind of really scary word, but I think that cures can be found, and I think that, you know, we're close, and I think that it's really important to just kind of keep pushing forward to kind of make everyone's lives better.
I remember first being introduced to the name Terry Fox and just who he was in second grade. So I would have been like 7 years old. And I remember just like being so young, but just like my eyes welling up with tears watching him. And I just felt my heart get so heavy. And then shortly after we did our first Terry Fox run, and, you know, we later ended up doing it every year. And every single time I always just felt like I was, you know, a part of something bigger than me. And I hope he understood how noble and selfless and courageous what he did was and still is to this day. He just impacted our country and so many people forever. So it's an honor to be doing this.
She just wants to be beautiful, she goes.
Unnoticed, she knows no limits, she craves attention, she praises an image she prays to be sculpted by the sculptor. Oh, she don't see the light that's shining deeper than the eyes can find it. Maybe we have made her blind, so she tries to cover up her pain and cut her woes away. 'Cause cover girls don't cry after their face is made. But there's a hope that's waiting for you in the dark. You should know you're beautiful just the way you are. And you don't have to change a thing, the world could change its heart. No scars till you're beautiful. We're stars and we're beautiful. And you don't have to change a thing, the world could change its heart. No scars till you're beautiful. We're stars and we're beautiful. Now she has dreams to be an envy, so she's starving. You know, cover girls eat nothing. She says beauty is pain and there's beauty in everything. What's a little bit of hunger? I can go a little while longer. She fades away. She don't see her perfect. She don't understand she's worth it. All that beauty goes deeper than the surface. So to everyone who's hurting, let me be your mirror. Help you see a little bit clearer. The light that shines within. There's a hope that's waiting for you in the dark. You should know you're beautiful just the way you are. And you don't have to change a thing, the world could change its heart. No scars till you're beautiful. We're stars and we're beautiful. And you don't have to change a thing, the world could change its heart. No scars till you're beautiful. We're stars and we're beautiful. Nobody you than you that you are. No better life than the life we're living. No better time for you shine, you're a star. Oh, you're beautiful. Oh, you're beautiful. There's a hope that's waiting for you in the dark. You should know you're beautiful just the way you are. And you don't have to change a thing, the world could change its heart. No scars till you're beautiful. We're stars and we're beautiful. And you don't have to change a thing, the world could change its heart. No scars till you're beautiful. We're stars and we're beautiful.
Terry, Doug, and Daryl continued the Marathon of Hope and made their way towards Thunder Bay. While Terry ran 1,850 kilometers, they had celebrated his birthday, rerouted runs to accommodate the press. They had reached the halfway mark in Sudbury. The Marathon of Hope total was now $1.25 million, and $2,000 to $3,000 a day was being raised across the country. But before Terry reached Thunder Bay, his body started to give him more signs that things were not okay. He was desperately trying to run with a swollen ankle and could no longer handle the pain. Finally, he reluctantly took off time from running to fly to Sault Ste. Marie, where a doctor found tendinitis in his ankle. The doctor also strongly recommended that Terry have a chest x-ray, but he refused, reminding the doctor the pain was in his ankle, not his chest. After a couple of days of rest, Terry hit the road and started running again. But he wasn't on the road for long. Soon he became so ill that he could not continue. Terry asked Doug to drive him to the hospital. September 1st was Terry's last journal entry.
21 miles. 3,339 miles total.
On September 2nd, 1980, Terry Fox told the press about what doctors had discovered.
The cancer had spread, and now I've got cancer in my lungs. And we got to go home and try and do some more treatment. But all I can say is if there's any way I can get out there again and finish it, I will.
Terry flew home and started treatment. He was awarded Companion of the Order of Canada and received an incredible outpour of love from Canadians who desperately wanted to pick up where he left off. Sadly, on June 28, 1981, a nation mourned when we lost one of the most courageous and selfless Canadians of all time. Terry Fox will never be forgotten. His legacy will continue to live on in the hearts of Canadians across the country.
There's a little lady who went out the road with tears in her eyes yesterday. She gave me a $20 bill. There's a girl who gave me a flower and $2. She's a marathon hoper. We need these other people to continue the marathon of hope, even if I don't make it. I'll do my best, but it's got to keep going without me if I can't make it.
If there is an exemplary average Canadian, it would be Terry Fox. This kid is saying something to us. He's saying, pick up the torch for me, help me. And Canadians caught that message. The telethon came together very quickly. Terry had just had to finish his run because the cancer had come back. We should get on board and do something for this kid.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Lloyd Robertson in Toronto, and all across the country, from St. John's, Newfoundland, to the out islands off the coast of BC, we are joining you tonight.
It was a very powerful night for me.
$1,182. There it is! $10 million. Thank you, Canada.
And it was $10.5 million. Pretty good for 5 hours.
Personally, if I look at things that I'd be most proud of over my history, it would be my founding of the Terry Fox Run. We decided we might do something to help him. And in speaking to him, he didn't want anybody to complete his run. He said, I did what I had to do, and if I can get back on my feet, I'll finish it. So we talked, and I said, what about just a family fun run to raise money? And he liked that idea, and that became the beginning of the Terry Fox Run. Terry's mission will continue. He embodied, everything we aspire to be. Hope, optimism, an indomitable spirit.
I think what Terry has done for us is make us realize that one person on a singular mission can accomplish something. So he gave each one of us the mission to find our own way of helping.
Hi, I'm Ethan Smog from Roach's Line, Newfoundland. I dressed up as my hero, Terry Fox, for Halloween. Instead of trick-or-treating, I raised money for cancer research. Donations came from all over the world, and I was able to raise $26,782 for the Terry Fox Foundation.
Me and my mom started the Pedal of Hope, which consisted of 50 riders, including Daryl Fox, Terry's brother, and rode over 100 kilometers to Hope, BC. We raised $110,000 for the Terry Fox Foundation.
For the last 7 years, we've been hosting the Terry Fox Run at a canoe landing park in Toronto, Canada.
Over the past 7 years, we have managed to raise over $100,000 towards progressive cancer research for the Terry Fox Foundation.
We planned the Terry Fox Run here in Inuvik because I think it's important to carry on Terry's legacy. So I always tell people, if you can't do anything else, get out and walk with us, get out and run with us.
There is no greater symbol for cancer research than Terry Fox. It's our duty to keep that alive.
I first learned about Terry Fox growing up in Shaunavon, Saskatchewan. He had a greater purpose than just himself. He is a hero to me. He's someone that I admired from afar as a kid. Although we never met, I think a bit of Terry Fox was instilled inside of me as an athlete when I would come into challenges and have things I'd have to overcome. He inspires me every day to keep moving, to stay active, and to make a difference in the lives of the people that I come into contact with. Terry Fox is truly a great Canadian, and he's changed the world and Canada forever. Terry Fox epitomizes grit, perseverance, and what it truly means to be Canadian and to lift each other up. So let's work together and make Terry's dream a reality and get one step closer to curing cancer.
Good guess, though. So we're here at just a family barbecue at my dad Fred's house. It's been rare that we've been able to get together, so we're just here to celebrate and yeah, enjoy each other's company. That's so cool. What are you gonna grade with it?
Somebody said it couldn't be done. He, with a chuckle, replied that maybe it couldn't, but he would be one who wouldn't say no till he tried. So he buckled right in with a trace of a grin. If he worried, he hit it. He started to sing as he tackled the thing that couldn't be done, and he did it. Terry, during the Marathon of Hope, was making his way from Cape Breton over the causeway to Nova Scotia, and he met a group of people, and they gave Terry this poem. And it's something that Terry really went to a lot when he wasn't having a good day. You know, he needed something to pick himself up, and it would inspire him, and because it was about people thinking that something wasn't possible to do, and Terry never felt that way. Anything was possible if you try.
I'm not a quitter. I don't like to lose. I don't like people feeling sorry for me. And I wanted to show people what I could do.
Who's that? You know, as Terry's brother, that legacy of cancer research, the impact that it's had on so many people because of over $850 million raised, that's what that legacy means to me, is the impact it's had on so many lives. And it's because of what Terry started in 1980 that we're where we are today. Terry said this, you know, we'll all be touched by cancer in some way. Maybe somebody we know, a family member, a friend, somebody, a neighbor down the street, and that's why it was important then to give to cancer research, and that's why it's still important to do it today.
Terry's goal 41 years ago was to fundraise for cancer research, was to hopefully one day see a cure so people wouldn't have to go through what he went through. Of course, so much progress has been made. We know that, but we also know that there's a lot of work still to do. I like to think that our goal is that one day we won't have to say goodbye to the people that we love because they've been diagnosed with cancer. And you can make a difference by making a donation to the Terry Fox Foundation. I like to think of Terry as Uncle Terry. I think, you know, out there in the public and to Canadians, he's a big hero, almost superhuman. And he was just like you, he was just like me, just a regular Canadian boy who set a goal and he wanted to make a difference in the world. And I think that's probably one of the most important messages that I learned from Uncle Terry is he's just a regular person and we can all help other people.
But just buckle in with a bit of a grin, just take off your coat and go to it. Just start into saying, as you tackle the thing, that cannot be done, and you'll do it. What did you think of that? It was good? Good. Uncle Terry liked that poem. Did you like it? Yeah, it's pretty good.
I am so fortunate to have called Terry Fox a friend of mine. I remember the first time that I met him, I'd just been recruited to Simon Fraser University and I was sitting in the basketball office and he was there. He left the office and I said to Coach, I don't know how to deal with this. He says, well, you're gonna get to see him every day. He's gonna be part of our team. He's gonna be a manager. He's gonna be around the team a lot. And sure enough, I got to see Terry on a regular basis. I would see him wheeling his wheelchair up Burnaby Mountain. I would see him trying to run up Burnaby Mountain on one leg. I would see him get to the top of the mountain and start lifting weights. Here I was. I had a goal. I wanted to play in the Olympics. I wanted to play for Canada. Terry was up there because he wanted to stop the suffering that he saw from the children in the cancer ward. This is when I knew it was real. He was really going to try to run across Canada. And then when the run started, he did a marathon a day. Imagine us trying to do a marathon every single day. And that's the determination that he had. And to this day, we still raise money in his name. So his goal has been achieved. Think about this. He was just one guy out there pounding the pavement. If we all work together, we can make a difference. Every donation counts.
This is Terry Fox and Greg Scott after Terry Fox started the Marathon of Hope. And to me, this is a perfect representation of both hope and of possibility. And I think when Terry Fox started his Marathon of Hope, he didn't really understand the true impact that he would have on people like Greg Scott and really millions of Canadians and people around the world. And for people like me who underwent a similar cancer to Terry Fox and also had my leg amputated, it provided a sense of what's still possible. And you see someone who looks like you and who has dealt with similar things and who walks like you. And you know, to see someone who ran a marathon a day while fighting cancer is just so absolutely inspiring. For me, 40 years later, you know, I can call people like Terry Fox and Greg Scott my heroes as well. Terry was such a selfless, courageous person. Terry changed the lives of so many people, and he was just one person. Imagine what we could all do together.
Cancer research has been making great progress in the last several decades, but not all of it gets translated quickly into benefit for patients. But the Marathon Hope Cancer Center's network is based on collaboration of the best scientists that we have in this country, so that together they may share their cancer research so that we can give the right treatment to the right patient at the right time.
I was diagnosed with stage 3 melanoma at the age of 24. So since then, I've been on immunotherapy. My treatment plan is around 2 years, and I'm just coming past it right now. My cancer diagnosis was very scary, especially at the age of 24. You never really think that this is something that would happen to you.
The Marathon of Hope Cancer Centers Network will bring together researchers from all over the country to create a massive database that will consist of clinical and genomic data. And then we will use new technologies such as artificial intelligence to help us understand this data. And this will really help us accelerate research into precision cancer medicine. Having a massive database that will provide a much bigger knowledge set for us to actually glean from will really allow us to do this in a much more sophisticated and actually precise way. And I think that's very exciting.
The one thing I've learned a lot about through my cancer journey is how personalized cancer is. And it's super important for patients like me that we have like big data, because the more data we have, the easier it is for like my medical team to be making these types of decisions and to have like a clear view of like what the best next step is. When I hear the name Terry Fox, I feel a very strong connection with him now, and I just want to help in any way that I can.
If you're inspired and you understand the importance of science as it relates to curing cancer, there's 3 easy ways for you to donate. Take action tonight. The important thing is to make your gift and join other Canadians to make a difference by investing in cancer research.
It's hard to believe that it's been 41 years since Terry Fox dipped his artificial leg in the Atlantic Ocean. Personally, I feel so blessed to have actually been his friend. I've recruited him to the Vancouver Cable Cars wheelchair basketball team after he lost his leg to cancer. Terry was inspired by our team and by a lot of mentors to be able to push forward and make a difference, not only as an athlete, but to make the world a better place as well. Well, he was an average Canadian with extraordinary focus and determination and passion to make a difference. That's what drove him ultimately on his Marathon of Hope. It also inspired me to believe in my dreams. My Man in Motion World Tour was a direct inspiration from Terry's journey. When I left on that tour, Terry's mom and dad gave me this miniature version of Terry's statue as a source of inspiration for our friendship, for the understanding that my dreams can come true as well. All these years later, so many of us have been inspired by his legacy. All Canadians have a chance to pick up where Terry left off, to believe that a cure for cancer is possible. Let's keep Terry's dream alive.
Perseverance and resilience. I think that just describes his character. In this photo here, after he's received the Companion of the Order of Canada, it's one of the highest honors you can get in Canada. I'm thinking about how happy he is. This is after his run, and he's still got a smile on his face. Terry's parents let Terry go across the country and lent their son basically to the entire country and to the entire world. A lot of parents would be selfish and want to keep their son, but they were generous enough to lend him to the world. I think one of the biggest things that Terry Fox did was inspire the entire world, and that it continues to happen today through athletics, through the cancer research portion, and just being an overall genuine good human being. For me, it inspires me to look at Terry Fox and what he's accomplished, and I want to do that in a similar way through the music, through the songs that I write.
I wish I could be like you, falling for somebody new. Lowering my head, holding my chest, praying that you could love me instead.
Somewhere the hurting must stop. Terry Fox said it. And he said it because he was a champion for change. He saw pain, physical and mental, and he wanted to be the one to stop it. That's what that quote means to me. He was something else, wasn't he?
Hey, I'm Josh Traeger, the drummer of the Sam Roberts Band. Terry Fox left an indelible impression on me. He showed us all that it only takes one to have a positive impact on many and redefine the meaning of courage in the process. There was another important lesson he taught us, something we need more of today: empathy. At a very young age, seeing him for the first time, it hit me hard. It was beyond my comprehension. I was fascinated, but at the same time, I was filled with a lot of compassion. And like most kids, I had a lot of questions. Before long, words like cancer and artificial leg became a part of my young vocabulary, but so did words like hope and hero. Terry Fox gave us all hope. Growing up, I started to become more aware of my own disability, as I was born with a rare eye condition leaving me legally blind. I struggled a lot, but the more I learned about Terry, the less I thought of myself as disabled, but rather just more inspired to want to help others. My family and I put on a neighborhood carnival and we raised about $50 in Terry's name. And in those days, for a 6-year-old, $50 was a lot of money. It was a big deal to me. And it was the beginning of a lifelong devotion to advocating Terry's dream of a world without cancer. In 2005, when I joined the Sam Roberts Band, it occurred to me that I wanted to share my passion for Terry Fox with the world. So everywhere we played, I wore a Terry Fox Rocks t-shirt. That led to getting involved with Terry Fox Foundation initiatives, and over the years I had the good fortune of getting to know the Fox family and those that were close to Terry. Hearing them speak about him the same way any of us might speak about a child, sibling, or friend only reinforced that he was just a regular guy. A human being just like the rest of us, only he believed anything is possible if you try. Power of one is something we all have. I like to think there's a little bit of Terry Fox's spirit somewhere in us all, and I carry mine right here.
I don't think any of us can truly appreciate what it would mean to run a marathon a day, every day. Wow. Oh, what I love about this picture is Terry is in the moment. He's doing what he said he set out to do. And I think about the sheer grit and tenacity and frankly just will it would have taken to do that. I imagine it's the morning. I imagine this is Terry Fox in the morning, first thing on his mission to find a cure for cancer, on his mission to take another step and another step and another step. Reminds me of my own journey as an athlete. Just that hopefulness that you will have, that new beginning, that new start of the day, you know, an opportunity to be great again. To be great again. Thank you, Terry. Thank you.
When the puck drops on the ice, we're very competitive. We'd give anything to help our team win.
But off the ice, there's some battles we have to fight together, like the fight to end cancer.
Terry Fox showed us what it is to be a hero, to be selfless, and to bring our country together as one team.
Tonight, we're proud to come together once again, united in our fight against cancer.
We are proud to announce that all 7 Canadian clubs will donate future proceeds from upcoming charity events this season in support of the Terry Fox Foundation.
Terry Fox brought us together 41 years ago, and he's bringing us together again tonight.
And we encourage you to pick up where Terry left off. Call, text, or go online and donate now.
I learned about Terry Fox around the age of 5 or 6 years old. We did the Terry Fox Run, which was a run in support of his foundation. That still goes on today, but you know, at 5 or 6 years old, you know, for his story to impact me the way it did was pretty unique. You know, what he did hadn't been done before, and he was able to really make a difference and continue to make a difference for so many people. I have a picture of Terry up in my house. Underneath there's a quote that says, "Today we got up at 4 a.m. and as usual it was tough." And I think it just speaks to the determination that he had, and you know, knowing how difficult the task was, but having the willingness to do it, knowing that it was going to help so many people and raise awareness and make such a difference. He was an amazing person, a really inspiring person, and happy to see his foundation flourishing to this day, and he's still making an impact. So pretty special guy, and someone that I've always looked up to.
You never know what is going to affect you the most and impact you the most. But when you're starting out, you know, it's pretty rugged. Opening for some bands, working our first record. And it was a struggle, you know. We're trying to save money and eating really bad food, and we're sleeping in the station wagons 3 out of the 7 nights of the week. We're driving from Winnipeg to Toronto. And I woke up in the morning and we're just a little ways out of Thunder Bay. And I'm wondering why the traffic has stopped, you know. I just want to get back home. And thinking, this is no way to make a living. I was thinking of packing it in. I seriously was thinking of packing it in. And all of a sudden, I realized out of the distance coming at us very slowly was this one-legged man, boy, really. And he was running. And as he got closer, you could see the determination, but also the pain, and how pale his face was. It was Terry Fox, obviously. He's just giving it all for a cause. And that was it for me. I didn't think about quitting. After that, I thought, I'm gonna give it my all. Doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. And then, of course, found out later it was the last day he ran. I get chills just telling the story, you know, right now. There's millions of us that feel we know Terry. He's touched us so deeply, and he's such a big part of who we are as Canadians, and he left such a powerful, indelible mark on this country. It was a really touching moment, seeing him run that last day.
Terry Fox, one of Canada's most impressive and memorable athletes, continues to inspire us today. Though he lost a leg to cancer, he didn't allow it to cripple his spirit, his will to survive, nor his determination to help others and give us all hope for a cancer-free future. Terry Fox showed us exactly what power of one means. One person can make a difference. In 1980, our country came together with Terry to help him achieve his goal of having each Canadian donate $1 to cancer research. And we can do it again this evening in his honor. In the spirit of a power of one, an anonymous donor has committed $250,000 in matching funds for donations made during this broadcast. You can double their impact on the search for a cure for cancer by donating now.
Hello everyone, bonjour à tous. Terry Fox embodied the very best of our country. His message of resilience, compassion, and hope has inspired generations of Canadians, and his legacy has led to great change from coast to coast to coast. When Terry left the rocky beaches of St. John's to begin his marathon of hope, he had no idea just how far his message would carry. Through those endless kilometers, the unspeakable pain, and bad weather conditions, he kept going. And he managed to unite an entire country around his cause. Today, his spirit of optimism and empowerment lives on through hundreds of thousands of people around the world who participate in the annual Terry Fox Run and through the Terry Fox Foundation, which builds on the momentum he created to find a cure for cancer. Together with Terry's spirit and the determination of Canadians, they've raised over $850 million for cancer research. But there's so much more to do to beat cancer. That's why the Marathon of Hope Cancer Centres are so important and why the Government of Canada is so proud to support them. These new centres will facilitate cancer research and provide the best possible outcomes for cancer patients across the country. Mes amis, on peut trouver de véritables solutions à ce défi si on travaille ensemble. Et en nous écoutant aujourd'hui, vous faites une réelle différence dans la vie de beaucoup de Canadiens. Alors, merci de lever la main et de faire un pas en avant. As Canadians, we have a unique ability to come together, support each other, and rally behind a worthy cause. So let's all work together to accomplish Terry's dream. And let's beat cancer once and for all. I can think of no cause more worthy than that. Thank you. Merci.
You can continue to go online and donate all year round. Just go to terryfox.org and click on Donate. Terry's dream can be our reality.
I want to say thank you to Teleperformance for supporting our broadcast tonight. And when you make your call to make your donation, thank the volunteer at the other end of the phone, because they're doing their part to help all of us join together and make the investment that we need in cancer research to make a difference.
When I'm running, I take 1 mile at a time, and I take one corner at a time.
I'm gonna sing these songs, inhabit them. That's where I want to go.
All you gotta do is take another step and keep on going.
Really, the final stretch was the first bit of imagery that came to mind when I think of Terry and Gord kind of using their last mile of the way to do good for others.
Wasn't born a hero, just doing what I have to. Saw the need and let it take the lead in me.
It was very easy to tie the two together. The very simple concept, when you think of Terry Fox, you think of running. So I was like, there it is, push through. It was about not giving up. It was about finding it in yourself to run a little bit further to the very end.
Run. Though the road it narrows, you won't find me anywhere else till it's done. Run. One foot in front of the other, for it could mean tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Sun.
Good. So good to see you.
Run.
A life well lived is a life well remembered.
I think of home a lot. I think of running into Vancouver and running into where I'm gonna finish on the ocean. And all you gotta do is take another step and keep on going.
Yeah,
Fox.
Hey.
Pete.
How are you?
Patrick Downey.
Patrick.
Great to meet you,
Pleasure to
Dale.
meet you.
Pleasure
How are
to
you?
meet you.
Great to see you again,
Have we
man.
met?
Just once or twice. It's fantastic to see you, man.
Great to be here. Terry Fox Plaza.
Oh.
Here we are.
What's it feel like every time you come by here?
Well, it's always pretty special. You know, I never get tired of it. You know, I'm 41 years of being Terry Fox's brother, and it's a gift. And I know that we have something in common there, I think, don't we?
We do. We absolutely do.
Terry was very sensitive.
Gord was a very sensitive guy. He just put other people's feelings before his own.
He had incredible inner strength.
He had an internal fortitude that was quite remarkable.
Oh, yeah. Terry was stubborn.
Gord could be very stubborn. It's almost like there's the way things are and the way he wanted them to be, and he usually didn't see any gap there.
He was extremely humble.
Humble? Yes.
Terry was shy.
Gord had a shy streak.
Impeccable values, and he lived and breathed them.
He lived by a kind of strict set of rules that he kept adding to.
You couldn't buy Gord Downey.
At no point during his battle with cancer did he ever feel sorry for himself.
We were all bawling our eyes out, and Terry recognized that, and again, instead of feeling sorry for himself, he was thinking of us.
I think actually he felt sorry for all of us.
When the final prognosis came in, and it took a while for it, that was, I think, maybe the first question he asked, can I still play?
I don't know how, and I don't have words. We'll never have the words to articulate how he got up every morning to run a marathon. I don't have the answer.
Yeah, it comes from somewhere else. I don't know where. I'm still in awe of where he found the strength to do that, not just physically, but emotionally as well. And I do think these guys were just different people. And I think, you know, the effect it had on people tells you everything you need to know.
Look at the impact Gord had after being diagnosed. I mean, he had an incredible impact pre-being diagnosed, but look what happened after diagnosis, like with Terry. Like, he was going to make the most out of every single minute. Life is really short. It is so short.
Yeah.
And you have to live each day to its fullest. And Gord and Terry are, you know, they represent that so well.
It seems like, in some ways, to really have this kind of iconic status, as Canadians, I wonder if we almost have to have that, yeah, but they have to be a good person. They have to have, like, real, you know, high moral fiber.
He was that, you know, same guy from small town British Columbia, just like, you know, Gord was from Kingston. You know, the same qualities. He knew where he was from, and he remained grounded, and he made everyone feel so comfortable around him. I think like Terry, Gord was a trailblazer.
If I had a way, I'd wish for more of it.
Wasn't born a hero, just doing what I have to. Saw the need and let it take the lead in me. Now the first steps seem so much simpler than the last ones before me now. Run